All right, y'all, it is time for some more buried stars. I'm really excited about this episode. We got a lot more to go. I can't wait. This game is heating up. Like I said, we're trying to get that true ending. That is the goal right now, baby. That's what I'm excited for. Thank you guys again for supporting the series. Every single time an episode comes out, you guys come in waves, in droves. You guys hit that like button. That's what matters. All right, thank you guys so much. Hit that like button if you haven't already. It helps me out in the YouTube algorithm. It helps these videos go up to the moon, so it can be recommended to everybody out there on YouTube that likes murder mystery games like myself. All right, so hit that like button. Also, comment down below. I try to read all of your guys' comments and such, and I always give you guys a heart if I read your comment or not. So go ahead and leave a comment. I interact with y'all. All right, don't think that if you don't write it, or if you do write a comment, that nobody's gonna read it. The boys gonna read it for sure. Okay, let's jump into the episode. We got a rapport event with Sayo. Let's get it. Let's see what's up.
あんたにもそう見えるのか?
Do you think so too?
いきなり何のことだ?
What are you talking about?
俺ってそんな不良に見えんのかよ?
Do I look like a bully to you? Sayo suddenly asked a question. Not really. Is this about the post on Fader?
おい、誰が俺の質問の意図なんか考えろって?
Hey, it's not about that. Just in general.
パッと見てどうなんだよ?
Just tell me how I look. Aww.
分別のないやつに見えるけど.
You look immature. I agree with that.
今マジで傷ついたからな.
I definitely agree with that. He is immature. That hurts.
パッと見てどうかって聞くから.
You asked me how you look. I gave you an answer. Sayo clicked his tongue looking at the ground.
ああ、そうだよ.
Look at this guy.
俺は昔から分別がなかった.
Fine. You're right. I've been immature throughout my life.
だけど、不良みたいなことはしてねえからな.
But I was never a bully.
正直、真面目じゃなかったけどよ.
I wasn't a good student, to be honest.
まあ、ダチとの義理の方が大事だから。遊びに誘われたら断れなくて.
But I was loyal to my friends. Friendship really mattered to me. Oh, he's a loyal person.
わかるか?
You know that kind of person, right?
わからないわけないだろ.
Of course.
それがそんなに不良みたいか?
Is that kind of a person what you call a bully? No, not at all. Not really. Sayo glanced at Han while talking.
ふざけて迷惑かけたことはあるけどよ.
Yes, I've bugged others sometimes, but
でも俺正直.
Frankly, Sayo closed his mouth. Oh, frankly, what?
なんでもねえよ. 話してたら暗くなってきたぜ.
It's nothing. I'm feeling bitter all of a sudden.
どうせ暴力振るってたんだろうって思ってるだろ.
You think I harassed my classmates, don't you? I didn't ask any of these questions. What are you talking about, Sayo?
俺が何考えてるか勝手に決めるなよな.
You don't get to decide how I think of you. Exactly. Thank you. Han, let him know.
自分で自分のイメージを悪く
Did you
して
see
たん
his
だよ.
face? Aw. I brought it upon myself.
しかも真偽に関する議論もなし.
Nobody even questioned if it was true.
話が出た途端に確定.
As soon as it came out, people believed it without a question. Han wanted to bring up Sayo's criminal record, but he didn't. Oh, that's a good point.
あんたに分別がないと言われたこと覚えとくからな.
Anyway, I will remember you calling me immature.
聞かれたから言っただけだって.
You asked for my opinion. And you received an answer. I'm sorry, Sayo, but you did. Effective branding. Sayo accepted that he had a hot temper, but he seemed troubled at the thought of the rumor being rendered as true right after it was revealed online. Ooh, that's tough, y'all. That's really tough because, I mean, we all know social media. You've probably followed people that got canceled on social media, right? As soon as you heard that one thing about that person, what did you do? You probably didn't question it. You probably didn't think twice about it. You probably just took it as fact. You agreed. So you went out and you attacked that person. Or maybe you didn't attack that person, but you left. You know, there's a lot of big content creators, not even just content creators, celebrities like artists, musicians, actors, and all kinds of people that I've seen get canceled, get accused of something, and people just take it as fact. Nobody thinks twice about it. Nobody asks that person, hey, did this really happen? And I'm not trying to, I'm not trying to say that like you shouldn't listen to victims right away, because, if someone's a victim of something, you should listen to what they have to say and you should take it into account, right? But I think at the same time, you need to hear both sides of the story, right? Whether it's the victim or the perpetrator, you need to listen to both of their stories. I mean, when somebody goes to court for something, right? You find out if they're innocent until proven guilty, right? Like, they're innocent until proven guilty. Like, you don't just accuse them like, oh yeah, we think this is the person, throw them in jail. Like, that doesn't work in a court of law, right? So, social media is different. Social media is different. Anyways, let's keep going. I got another event? Whoa, what the heck? I was not expecting that. Remember when I talked about what type of girl I liked? No? That you like mature girls and stuff? Yeah, it came out of nowhere. Frowning, Sayo averted his eyes. What's taking you so long? Do you have a crush on somebody here? Well. Oh, really? I had a relationship with somebody near the end of the preliminaries. What relationship? Well, I was going out with someone. Going out with someone? With whom? Sayo stared at Han with his wandering eyes. Oh, wait, I don't remember this. Did I completely skim over this in the first playthrough? I don't remember him saying this. Shin?
Huh?
No way! He was having a crush on the freaking producer of the show? I did not know this. Did they talk about this in the first playthrough? No way. I knew you would react that way. Are you serious? I wouldn't make a joke of someone who passed away. Han unknowingly covered his mouth. It happened for many reasons, but specifically because she was my type. Wait! No way! I asked her out without much expectation, but then she said okay. What? We're swimming, y'all! Yo, we're swimming in the tea! When people started talking about you and her, I thought it was nonsense. But I'm sure nobody really knew about our relationship. It broke up? Didn't even last long. We broke up after I made it to the finals. What? Then it lasted only a couple of weeks. That's it? She said my criminal record was too much to handle. We decided to break up quietly and to keep our mouths shut. It was all my fault. She told me to win the show on my own from that time on. What? Shin and Sayo fell in love during the preliminaries and kept dating until the finals began. After his school violence scandal broke, Shin broke things off with him and swore him to secrecy about their relationship. Yikes! Han wanted to ask him again if he really went out with her, but decided not to. What? I still liked her, even after we broke up. Well, yeah, I mean, why wouldn't you? Yeah, I made some mistakes, but I wanted to prove myself to her.
ステージは崩れてプロデューサーはあんなことになっちまった。
I'm so sad. Then the stage collapsed, and now Shin is gone.
ただ気の毒で悲しくてさ。
I'm terribly sad. Poor Shin.
せっかちな人だったよ。いきなりステージを移したり手抜き工事させたり。
She was always in a hurry. She suddenly decided to move the stage, and it led to the shoddy stage construction.
そんな出来事が重なってプロデューサーは連れて行かれたんだよ。
Everything added up and took her away for good. Oh my god, no wonder why he was so mad in my first playthrough at the fake Shin. Somebody was pretending to be his girl, his ex-girl. I'd be mad too. Sayo held his trembling hand with the other hand.
だからってこのまま諦めるわけにはいかない。
Still, I can't give up.
プロデューサーに言われた通りにやってみようと思うんだ。
I'll do what she told me to do.
どんな手を使ってでもどんどん進んでみせる。
I'll pave my own way to victory at any cost. This is crazy. Han just stood there, surprised by the unexpected confession. No, I feel like if I heard this, there's no way I skipped over this or something. Because if I would have heard this, I would have remembered this completely. So I must not have seen this in the first playthrough. Sayo had a special relationship with the producer, Shin, since the end of the preliminaries, but she dumped him during the finals, saying she couldn't cover up his scandal. Wow. That's all I have to say to that. Wow. Come on, y'all. God, he has a lot of events. This is another one. This is the third
あの
one.
件さ、退学になったことは。
You heard about me getting kicked out of high school? Sayo fell into a long silence. Look at him.
俺は加害者じゃない。全部デタラメだ。
I wasn't the bully. It's all lies. Han unknowingly opened his mouth.
前科持ってるやつが言うから説得力ないってか。
Not convincing at all since I have a criminal record?
いや、お前が直接違うって言ったの初めて聞いたから。
Not really. This is actually the first time you denied it. That's why. Sayo fell silent, as if he was at a loss for words.
一体何があったんだ？
What happened? Really?
奪われたんだよ、真実をな。
The truth has been taken away from me.
調子に乗ってたのは確かだ。真面目でもなかったし。
It's true I acted like a snobby punk in school.
でもそんなに悪いことはしていない。本当だって。
Still, I swear I wasn't a bully at
じ
least.
ゃあなんで？
Then how?
クラス委員長だよ。佐々木哲也ってやつだけど根が悪かった。
My class leader, Book. He was an asshole.
誰か一人を執拗にいじめたりしてた。
He liked to constantly pick on weak people.
親がすごい金持ちでさ、何をしても OK だったんだ。
It seemed natural for him to step on other people since he was a spoiled kid from a rich family.
自然と一人が集中攻撃を受ける形になってた。
Everyone around him started to pick on one person. What?
それがお前だったのか？
And that was you? Sayo slowly nodded.
最初は仲がいいと思ってたんだ。俺が合わせてたらいいんだって。
At first, I thought he was my friend, so I just wanted to go along with him.
気がついたら俺はただの殴られ役だった。
But one day, I realized that I was always the one getting bullied.
教室でそいつに面と向かって聞いたよ。なんでこんなことするのかって。
So I asked him why he was treating me like that.
弱くてつまらないやつだからって言われたよ。
He said he was picking on me because I was weak and helpless.
頭に来て問いただしたら椅子が飛んできた。
I got mad, but I still tried to talk with him. But then he threw a chair at me. Han gulped.
それに当たって喧嘩になった。
Oh, look at him. The chair hit me, so a fight broke out.
最初の一発はやられたけどこっちだって殴りかかった。
Why does he look like Super Saiyan 2 Gohan? You know, Teen Gohan? You remember when Teen Gohan turned Super Saiyan 2? Tell me he don't look like that. He attacked me first, but I didn't back off. And there you go. We fought really hard.
翌日になったら話は全て終わっていた。
The next day when I went to school, this whole story was changed. Sayo's voice began to shake. Aww.
クラス委員長をぶん殴ったってことにな。
This is all starting to add up to why he acts like this. The conclusion was that the class leader was beaten up by a bully.
教室だったからみんな見てたんじゃないのか。
It happened in the classroom. There must have been other students.
それがこの話のポイントってわけ。
Here comes the tragic part.
みんな俺が先に殴ったって証言したんだぜ。
What? Everyone testified I hit him
クラス
first.
の風紀を乱してたやつがとうとう委員長にまで手を挙げたって。
They said I've been ruining the whole class atmosphere and eventually attacked the poor guy. He was falsely accused of being a bully. Wow.
俺の母親は示談金だけは勘弁してほしいって頭下げてよ。
My mom begged his parents to accept her settlement money.
分かってる。金がないってこと。
Wow. I knew my family was poor.
分かってるんだよ。無力で何もないくせに努力もしないってこと。
Yo, I'm sad. Of course I knew that. No power, no strings to pull. I didn't even study hard.
分かってる。俺が信頼に足る息子じゃないってこと。
I knew I was not a good son.
俺も分かってるけど。
Nevertheless,
こんなのあんまりだろ。どうして原因と結果が入れ替わるんだよ。
I'm sorry, I'm about to cry. It wasn't right. How could they blame the victim? Sayo choked up with intense emotion.
喋ったでもあのざまだ。あの中には俺に汚名を着せた野郎もいるだろうよ。
Just look at Vader. I bet even the real bully is having a blast framing me in there.
無実を訴えるべきじゃないのか。
Shouldn't you reveal that you were framed?
何かが変わるのか。俺には今も力がないのに。あの時と同じだよ。
Who would believe me? I'm a nobody. Nothing has changed.
真実も力のあるやつだけが得られるんだよ。
Truth is only for the powerful.
金か力かどっちかは持ってなきゃダメだ。
You need to have money, power, or whatever. Man, that's...
力は
Woo! He's not lying.
真実さえ奪っ
He's
ちま
not
うから
lying.
な。
Because power manipulates the truth. He is not lying. Sayo blurted and lowered his head. That is facts.
ユーマ
Sayo,
プロデューサーは死んだ。前科者の俺にできることは何もない。
Shin is dead. I'm just a screwed up criminal.
これじゃなきゃ俺は何で上がればいい。どんな手で力を得るんだ。
How am I supposed to escape this abyss if not with this audition? How am I supposed to gain
こ
power?
のまま番組が終わって前の生活に戻ったら
At the time the show ends and everybody goes back to their
俺
places,
は終わりだよ。
I'll be left alone, buried away. He's not lying. He literally will be buried away pretty soon. Sayo, the victim, had merely defended himself against the perpetrator. Classmates at the scene agreed to cover up the truth, claiming Sayo to be the attacker. It was all possible because the perpetrator had power. And some of y'all were asking me why I made the title of that one episode that when he died, why I named it my favorite character. I knew Sayo had more to him than what we've been seeing. I knew it. And we just got it. They just dropped bombs on us right there. I don't think I got any of those rapport events before. I don't think I got any of those. Because that was all new. That was all new feeling to me. Man, that was crazy. Oh, I got another one. What the heck? All of these rapport events.
俺の決心は変わらないからな。
I'm not going to change my mind.
ベリスタは俺のところに来た。
This
そして
music.
残された唯一のチャンスなんだ。
This music. B-Stars is the only chance I have left. Sayo messed with his bangs.
番組がこのまま続くって保証もないだろ。なのに
No one knows that the show will continue. Then why?
不安だからだろ。だから余計にこだわるんだよ。
I'm clinging on to this because nothing is certain.
終わったからやめろって知らせがあったらやめるよ。俺も。
I would probably give it up if the show was officially over.
ここに残ることが力を手に入れることになるのか。
Winning the audition is worth that much to you?
今度は俺が聞くぜ。
Let me ask you a question.
なんであんたは本戦まで上がってきたんだ。
Oh, this music.
マスカレードのメンバーはみんな家に帰ったんだろ。
Why are you still competing in the finals? The other Masquerade members already went back home.
義理に生きるなら荷物まとめて一緒に帰るべきだったよ。
If team spirit is what's important for you, you should have gone back home by now.
裏切り者っていうレッテル貼られてしんどいんだろ。俺が校内暴力をしたやつになったようにな。
Everyone treats you like a betrayer, just like me, branded as a school bully. Oh.
あんたも本戦に上がってきた。プロデューサーがどんな手を使ったか俺は知らないぜ。
But you made it to the finals. Whatever Shin did for you.
でも自分で辞める気なんかなさそうだし。
You don't look like you want to quit.
とにかくこのまま辞める気はないんだろ。
You won't just drop out of the show, right?
俺もだよ。どんな手段を使ってでもチャンスを掴んでみせる。
I feel the same way. I'll do whatever it takes to get my chance.
俺の人生にいつ来るか分かんないことだから。
This could be my last chance in life.
ユーマ、俺は
I don't like this. Sayo,
やめろよ。あんたの事情なんか聞きたくない。理解したくないんだよ。
Enough. I don't want to hear your story. I don't want to understand you.
心が弱くなるんだよ。
You will only weaken my resolve. Sayo gave an awkward smile.
俺の話全部嘘かもしれないだろ。
I might be making things up here, right?
実は不良で正義の制裁を受けているのかもしれない。
Maybe I really was a bully, and this could be my bad karma coming back to me, right?
俺をあんまり信じんなよ、りょうさん。
Don't trust me too much, bro.
また何を言いふらすかわかんないし。
You don't know what I'll say about you later. Sayo looked towards the corner of the dressing room.
ところで俺の話他の人たちにはしないよな。
Anyways, you won't tell others about what we've talked about, will you?
誰にも話すなってことか。
You want me to keep my mouth shut?
ああ、その通りだよ。
Exactly.
まだ戦いすら仕掛けてない。
I didn't even start a real fight yet.
今あの人たちにまでバレたら
If you reveal anything to them,
そん時はここで死んでやるからな。
what? I'll kill myself here. And he meant it. I'm sorry. He emphasized that even the truth is driven by power. He steeled himself to seize future opportunities. Wow.
もう言いたいことは全部言ったぜ。
If we would have gotten that scene in the normal ending, his death would have hit so much harder. His death would have hit 10 times harder. But there's no way for you to get that, I don't think. You can't get that because you have to get a particular keyword choice and you can't get that on the first run. So you get it on the second run. So I know for sure we didn't see that rapport event. That was new. Wow. That's sad. Hey, we got a men rapport event. Let's do it.
あなたもキャラだと思う？パニック障害。
You think my panic attacks are fake? Made up for the show?
T よしえの書き込みまだ気にしてるんですか？
Are you still bothered by what Big Shin said?
コーヒーとパニック障害が相性悪いのかどうか俺には分かりません。
They say coffee and panic attacks don't go together, but I don't know. Min dropped her eyes for a moment.
そう。二つは相性悪いの。
That's right. They can't go together.
治療する時もカフェインはやめるべきって言われるから。
Even my doctors advised me to stop drinking coffee.
今の聞いてどう思った？
What do you think of me now?
だったら
Well, if that's the case,
なんで飲むんです？医者からも止められてるのに。
why do you keep drinking it when your doctors advised you against it?
良くなったから。
Because I got much better.
ベリスタに参加する前にはほとんど治っていたのよ。
I was almost recovered by the time B-Stars was about to begin. Min looked Han straight in the eyes.
そうだとしてもバリスタまで。
But you worked as a barista.
母の店だったの。
It was my mom's coffee shop.
家の仕事だったんですね。
Oh, it was a family business.
小さいカフ
Yes, it was a small coffee
ェ。
shop.
バイトを雇う余裕はなかったから。
She couldn't afford to hire anyone to help her. I do remember this.
手伝うと言ったら
I remember this a lot.
本当に喜んでたわ。
You have no idea how happy she was when I offered to help.
調子が悪い時は家の中に引きこもって何にもできなかったから。
Because when my symptoms were bad, I couldn't do anything but stay home all day long.
嬉しかったんでしょうね。店を手伝うってことは良くなっている証拠ですから。
Your mom must have been very happy being able to work as a sign of recovery.
私の方こそ家族のおかげで立ち直ることができたわ。
I owe that to my family who helped me to overcome it.
世の中すべてに責められた時も家族は私の味方だったから。
When everyone pushed me into a corner, my family stood by my side.
何も聞かずにずっと待ってくれた。
They just waited for me without any questions.
いつからか少しずつだけどまたコーヒーを飲み始めたの。
After some time, I got better to the point that I could enjoy coffee little by little.
もう大丈夫だっていう実感が湧いてきたわ。
And I came to realize that I really got better.
だからここベリスタに来ることができたの。
And that's how I regained my strength to compete in B-Stars. Min braced herself with one arm as if leaning against it.
パニック障害一度なったからといって永遠に奈落に落ちるわけじゃないの。
Panic attacks don't push you into the abyss forever.
忘れた頃にまた出てきたりもするのよ。
They come and go.
私なりにうまく付き合えるようになったと思っていたわ。
You kind of have to live with it.
ベリスタではどうしようもなかったけど
But I failed to control it during B-Stars. Aw, poor
でき
Min.
るまで追い詰められるとは思ってもみなかったから。
I never thought they would push me to having another panic attack.
わざとやったことでしたよ。あんまりです。
They definitely crossed the limit. That was so inhumane. A faint smile was seen on her pale face.
でもね、あの瞬間からランキングが上昇したの。
The funny thing is, my rank started going up since then.
おかしい世の中よね。
Weird world, huh?
苦境を乗り越える話は好きでも、誰かが無事に
This is so
克服できたら
true.
妬む。
People love success stories, but when someone is about to finally overcome a challenge, they get jealous.
苦境を乗り越える物語はフィクションでしか
I guess the
歓迎されな
heroine
い
is
のかも
only
しれ
accepted
ない
in
わ。
fiction.
家族の仕事を手伝いながら治っただけなのに、そんな平凡な話なのにね。
I barely recovered while helping out my family business. It's nothing to be jealous of.
レイナさん、
Min,
コンセプトだと疑うだけの余地は
she is faking it.
こうやって要約されてしまうの。
That's the summary people made. Why couldn't they just understand my girl? She's out here doing good work. We got an O rapport. Let's go.
関心を選んで得ることはできないよ。
We can't choose what we get.
よく聞く話だな。
I heard that before.
毎回慣れないからね。
But I'll never get used to having too much attention.
T よしえが過去の話をしたからなのか。
Bothered by what fake Shin said?
今更ではあるけどね。過去をなんで明かさないのかみたいな話。
Yeah. Why are they all curious about my past all of a sudden? Oh waved her hand in the air.
参加の申し込みするときもだいたい想像はしてた。
I kind of imagined it when I applied for the show.
もしも大ブレイクしたらどうしよう。私まだ準備できてないんだけど。みたいな。
What if I get too popular? Am I really ready for this? Things like that.
本当に本戦に上がるなんて全然思ってなかったけどね。
I never thought I would make it to the finals.
経験はいつも想像を超えるものだし。
Real life experience beyond imagination.
想像通りだとしても直接感じるのとは違うと思うよ。
Imagining it and experiencing it are two different things.
あんたはステージに
Very
立ったことあ
two
るんで
different
しょ
things.
バンドの時。
You've been on the stage before as a band member, right?
経験あった方がないよりはマシじゃない？
Does it help to have some experience?
マスカレードそんなにファンが多くなかったんだ。
You mean Masquerade? We weren't that popular. Bruh, they were probably like one of those bands that like go around and do open mics and stuff, you know? Like in front of like a little small crowd of
個
people.
人のファンかなりいるんでしょ？そう聞いたけど。
I know you have a lot of fans,
俺だけがステージの経験があるってわけでもないだろう。
but I'm not the only one who has performed on the stage before.
お前たちクルーの公演も大阪じゃ行けてただろ。
Your crew was quite sensational in Busan.
いけてたって何それ？
Not really. Oh put on a bitter smile.
なんて
Oh,
いう
look at
か
her!
曖昧なんだよね。
I love it! This show is walking a very
プ
fine
ライベ
line.
ートなことまで全部流してるみたいじゃん。
Our personal life is quite exposed through the show.
基本的には編集したシーンを流すんだけど。
They are basically edited for broadcasting purposes.
意図的に組み合わせたらまるで別人のように出ることもあるし。
But we could be portrayed as totally different people, depending on their editing.
あとは本人の能力次第かな。
I guess the rest is up to us.
すぐ本来の姿がバレたり好奇心がそそられたりするからな。
We either run out of things to show, or excite others with fabulous performances.
私ちょっと甘く考えてたかも。
I wasn't taking it seriously enough before.
誰かが私のことこんなに気にしてるなんて思わなかった。
I didn't think people would be that curious about me. Oh shook her head.
見えてるもの以上を知りたがるから。
They want to know more than what they see.
ステージの上の姿だけじゃダメなのかな。
What they see on the stage doesn't seem to satisfy them.
正直私も昔はそんなことできなかったけど。
Oh well, I was one of them when I was a
知
spectator.
っていながら参加したんじゃないかって聞かれたら返す言葉もないけど。
If people ask me if I didn't expect this, I have nothing to
あえ
say.
て言うとこれほどだとは思わなかったって感じかな。
I expected their attention, but in terms of intensity, not really. Oh put her hands together on her chest.
誰にでも秘密はあるでしょ。
Everyone has a secret, right?
大きなことじゃなくてあまり人に見せたくないようなこと。
Something you want to hide, be it big or small.
一つぐらい心の底に隠しといたっていいんじゃないかな。
Is it just not acceptable to hide a small secret from people? Oh pulled on her earlobe after a brief silence.
オーディションで何
I mean, it depends on how small it is.
言われそうだよね。
I shouldn't be whining when I'm one of the finalists, right?
俺たちだけで考えていることを言っただけだからな。
Well, it's just between us.
そうね。ま、こんぐらいにしとくわ。
No, don't stop here. I want to know more. Okay, I'll stop here then. No! Oh knew that no one on the show could avoid unwanted attention. Nevertheless, she expressed that the contestants also needed a break from the public eye. That is true. You do need a break here and there. I always tell people you need rest. You gotta take a break. The public interest in her private life stresses out. She doesn't understand why her stage performances aren't enough for some people. Dang. I mean, I guess I can relate to that in a way, you know what I mean? I guess like you can never like you can never fully satisfy your fans, you know what I mean? You can never fully satisfy your viewers, and it's not just me, like it just in general, you know what I mean? Whether you're an artist, musician, content creator, streamer, yada 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 yada, you can never fully satisfy. People are always gonna want more, and it's like sometimes you just run out of gas. You're on E. You're like, bruh, I gotta take a break. And I want to say the one thing about like being in the entertainment field of any kind of what doesn't matter what you do, as it just has to be in the entertainment field. I guess it's not even just an entertainment thing. It's just a life thing in general, is we're not allowed to take breaks. You know what I mean? Like the word break is like such a bad thing. You know what I mean? It has a negative connotation behind it, right? Because people think when you take breaks, you're being lazy, right? Oh, you're just being lazy right now. You just don't want to work, yada, 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 yada. And it's like, that's not what it is, you know? Your body needs time to rest, to recuperate, to recharge. You know what I mean? Your mind, your physical being, everything needs time to recharge after a while. Breaks shouldn't be a bad thing. I don't know where or how in society we have just adopted this ideology of like, you shouldn't be able to take breaks. Whoever started this is freaking crazy, dude. I don't know who started it. I don't know if it's just because of how our society is and we just have to work because we're millennials, because millennials don't make enough money. So we need to work like 7 jobs to, you know, be able to sustain some kind of living, right? Or you need to do so many things just to make enough money, right? Like I can't just be a content creator. Like and I don't just make money off of content creation. I make money in like so many other ways, right? But you know, that's just the age that we live in now. We don't make enough money. So it's just like taking breaks and stuff, and you know, hearing that you're lazy and things like that is really pushing people to the edge. You know what I mean? I've lost a lot of friends personally because they felt like they were just overwhelmed, you know? And it's sad. It's really sad. Oh my God, we're back here, y'all. The death of a century. Jeez. I hate being here again. Oh. Why? Okay, let's see how this plays out this time, though. I'm just gonna skip through all of this. Okay, my sanity is super high. So as you guys see, my sanity didn't go away. I remember on the first playthrough, it went completely away. I was screwed. Okay, everybody came. Yada, yada, yada. This man's not gonna feel a pulse. They're gonna be like, he's dead. So what's gonna play out differently here? Oh, okay, wait. I think this is where I have to make a choice. I think I'm gonna remain silent. So it was true that the one in last place would die? And then that's where the to be continued shows up. All right, but how is this gonna play out now? Because now I have sanity. So now I'm able to make decisions and such. Everybody fully trusts me. Fully trusts me. I'm excited about this. Nobody could speak up. Han could barely manage to steady his limbs. I should stay awake. I was talking to Sayo just minutes ago. I need to figure out what happened. He managed to open his mouth, but nothing came out except for short moans. Ooh. Han. Here it is. Let's get it. Min called him with a worried look on her face. Han clenched his teeth. He tried to ignore the cold sweat and steadied his quivering voice. He struggled to remove fake Shin's post out of his head. Min, let me know if you're not feeling well. This man's taking control. I like it. As he barely continued to speak, the watch on his wrist began to vibrate. Oh, there's plug hole again. You are Han, right? Come on, answer me. Who are you? Han received a message from this account even when he discovered the body of Shin. He looked at the username again, but it didn't look familiar at all. Another anonymous user has appeared suddenly. The account name was Plughole. Who the heck is Plughole? I don't have time to respond to this person. Guess you're dead. R.I.P. Whoa. See? What the heck? His head was burning with white hot rage. Keep messing with me, then you're dead. You are alive. I thought you already gave up or something. Suddenly, his head turned cold. I gained sanity from that. What? To receive a message, the sender's number has to be listed in the contact list. That meant that this person was likely to be someone related to B-Stars. What? It could be the rescue team or a B-Stars official. Are you from B-Stars or the rescue team? Me? Who am I indeed? What? Your amigo secreto. What? Who is this wacko? He lowered his arms and walked back toward the group.
スマートウォッチに何かあったの？
Is there something else on the watch?
ユーマ、調べた方がいいと思います。
I should check on Sayo. Man, it's not like that body is going anywhere. Lee, who was standing next to Sayo, stared at Han.
よ、大丈夫か？
Are you going to be okay? Sayo's foot was sticking out, and seeing it made Han's head spin again.
大丈夫。ユーマの状態、一緒に調べよ
I'm okay. I'll check up on Sayo with you.
う。わかった。足元に気をつけろ。
Okay. Watch your step. Lee motioned at him to come over, as if he had given up on stopping Han.
私も一緒に調べるわ。
Take me with you.
本当にいいんですか？僕たちが。
Will you be alright? We'll...
田中プロデューサーの時と今回は状況が違うわ。
This is different from the case of Shin.
どう見てもユーマくんは誰かに殺されたのよ。
Sayo was clearly attacked by someone. I'm glad someone understands. Min tried to catch her breath. She's smart, okay? She is smart.
私も調べるわ。直人くんとクニカちゃんはあそこで待ってて。
I must see him. Chang and O should wait over there.
はい。
Yes. Okay.
レイナさんも気持ち悪くなったらすぐ戻ってきてね。
If you feel uneasy, get out of there immediately. It's game time, baby. We're in. This is the next route, y'all. This is all new. Han ignored the continuous incoming message notifications.
こっちから調べよ
Let's start from this side. Han and Min nodded slowly. Let's get it. Let's get it. We're investigating. We need to have the Danganronpa investigation music here. It'd be perfect. Han found a blood stain inside the storage area.
う。膝ぐらいの高さです。
It's about knee high.
座っていたとしたらこの辺が頭だったはずよ。
If he were crouching, this would have been about where his head was. Dang, okay, kitty, slow down.
レイナさんの言う通りです。
Yeah, if he was crouching, Min must be right. The two nodded and stood back for a moment. Bloodstained storage. Bloodstains on the inner wall of the storage area at about the height of Sayo's head, assuming he was crouching at the time. His body was found in the storage area. He was lying sideways, crumpled.
座っている状態から倒れたように見えるわ。
It seems like he was crouching, then fell.
掃除用具室の中にも何か痕跡が残っているぞ。
There's also something in the stall.
もうちょっと調べてみます。
Let me look closer. Wait, what? The place where Sayo's body was found, he lay sideways, crumpled. Let's look at his head. Yeah, he's bleeding from the head. You check Sayo's head where most of the wounds were concentrated.
りょうくん、大丈夫？
Han, are you okay?
気持ち悪いなら無理に見なくても。
You don't have to force yourself if it's... Han shook his head and checked Sayo's head again. There was a long gash on the back of his head. It was at an angle, and there was still some blood on it.
大きな傷だけど
Huh.
深くはないようだ。
It's not small, but not deep enough.
あれだけでこうなったとは思えないもの。
This can't be the cause of death. Okay, so that's not the cause of his death.
この傷、長い棒のような。
Struck with a stick. By the looks of it, he seems to have been struck with a stick. A stick? A shallow but long cut has been found on the back of Sayo's head. He might have been hit by a long staff. Lee took a deep breath.
他のところにも傷があるぞ。
There's another wound on the other side. Sorry. I had indigestion right there. I was like, I'm about to die. I thought I was about to start choking. It was on the side of Sayo's head. It was large, obviously the fatal wound. It appeared that Sayo had been struck by a big, solid object.
なんでこうなったんでしょうか。
What do you think it was?
トイレにこんな傷ができるようなものってあったかしら。
Was there anything in the restroom that could cause a wound this severe?
そんなものは見当たりませんね。
I don't think so. What the heck? A big staff? They couldn't come to a conclusion. It was all just guesswork at this point. They moved back slowly. I don't know, guys. That's weird. There's a large, deep wound on the side of the head. He might have been hit by something hard. I don't think we've seen any staffs or anything.
スマートウォッチはなんともないわね。割れてもないし、取り外して持っていかれたりしてないわ。
The watch is clean. It's not broken. And it doesn't look like anyone tried to take it.
電源もついてます。
The power is on too. Lee tried several functions on the
どうで
watch.
す何かありましたか。
So, anything? Lee finished checking the watch and handed it over.
シャベッターを使った以外は特に何もないみたいだ。
Nothing much other than using it to access Fader. Han also checked functions such as Messenger and Fader.
異常はないな。
Nothing has changed.
スマートウォッチにはあまり興味がなかったようね。
I guess they didn't have any interest in the watch. Okay. Sayo's watch is intact and working. There are no signs of using anything other than Fader. So, whoever killed him didn't care about the watch at all. Han looked at the crumpled body lying sideways.
目立った外傷はないみたいです。
There are no other
衣
wounds.
服も乱れていない。
His clothes are tidy.
荒
That's
かっ
weird.
たり抵抗した傷跡はないわ。
So was it a surprise attack? There's no sign of struggle or resistance. The three moved back slowly, trying not to bump into one another. His body lay sideways with no other injuries. His tidy clothing implies no signs of a physical fight, so that had to be a surprise attack then, right? After checking the body in the immediate area, they left the stall.
床の血痕、そっちも確かめてみましょう。
Let's check the blood stain on the floor as well.
か
That's a long blood stain. He obviously didn't get killed here. Oh wait, what is that? Is that a mop? Was he killed with a mop? It's pretty long.
トイレの真ん中から掃除用具室まで続いている。
From the center of the restroom all the way to the storage area. Min silently stared at the long blood stain. There's a long trail of bloodstains from the center of the room to the storage area. So he was killed in the central area of the restroom then. More than likely. And then dragged over there. Do you see anything? Because look at that. There's a blood splatter right there on the wall.
いえ、何も見当たりません。
No, I don't see anything.
他の個室にも何もないようだ。
Nothing special than the other stalls.
確かに。
Yeah, definitely. This toilet stall is empty. There are no bloodstains or any other clues.
モップの絵、折れてますよ。
The mop shaft. It's broken.
ひどいわね。
That's horrible.
同感です。
Couldn't agree more. The three quietly shook their heads. Okay, what's that in there?
血痕はここから始まっています。
The blood trail starts from here.
ユウマくんはここで襲われたのよ。
This is probably where Sayo was
近
attacked.
くでもう少し調べてみましょう。
Let's take a closer look. Okay, let's look at the bloodstains on the wall here. Han's sight stopped at the restroom pillar.
これは何だろう。
Look at the bloodstain on the pillar.
手の跡だとは考えにくいわ。
It's not from putting his hand on the wall.
ユーマの身長より少し低いな。
It's a little shorter than his standing height.
激しくぶつかった跡かもしれないわ。
Could be a sign of a hard impact.
そのようですね。
I think so. There's a lot of blood at roughly the height of an adult on the pillar, suggesting that something struck against it hard. His head, maybe?
掃除用のモップの絵が凶 器だったみたいね。
That's a strong mop shaft. I think the mop shaft was used.
もともと掃除用具室にあったはずですよ。
It was probably in the storage area.
真っ二つになってる。
It's broken in half. Han bit his lip and just stood there. A mop, which was leaned against the wall, is broken into pieces, lying on the ground. The three of them stood at the center of the
こ
restroom.
こから結婚が始まってるわ。
The blood trail starts from here. Lee shook his head, covering his mouth.
あっちは引きずられた後で、ここには血が溜まっていますね。
That was the trail of blood over there, but here we can see a pool of blood. There's a pool of blood at the center of the restroom. All right. So it looks like he definitely got killed right there.
全部確かめたぞ。
He looked pretty much everywhere.
一体誰がこんなこと。
Who would do such a thing? Min wiped her eyes with her hand.
どう見てもこれは事故ではないわ。
This definitely was not an accident. I agree with that. Chang and Oh came toward them.
どうです？一体何があったんですか？
How does it look? What happened?
本当に誰かにやられたの？
Who did this to him? The three looked at one another. They exchanged glances, wondering where to begin. It was one of y'all! Han took a step forward.
ここでやられたんですよね。
He got attacked here, right?
武器らしいものはあった。どうやって始めたの？
Was there anything that could have been used as a weapon? How did it begin? The two scrambled to ask questions. The topics were the crime scene, initial wound, and weapon. Well, it looks like the mops
俺たちが見た
was the weapon, the way we see it. Okay, let's see what's up. All right, let's select. I got it. So it's going to be the center of the restroom was where the incident initially happened, of course, right? The back of his head is where the injury is because he has that cut. And then the mop is going to be the weapon. And I'm going to lock in my answer. Bam! Just like that. It's got to be it.
トイレの真ん中の血痕が痕跡の始発点だった。
The blood trail started from the center of the restroom.
血の量もそうだし、最初に攻撃を受けた地点に違いない。
Considering the amount of blood, this must be where Sayo was initially attacked. Yes, let's go.
ユーマの頭から2つの傷を見つけた。
We found 2 wounds on his head.
後頭部に細長く切れた部分があったけど、深くはなかった。
On the back of his head was a gash that was long, but not particularly deep.
一旦そこが最初に襲われた痕跡だと思う。
I think that was the initial wound. Yes. Go ahead and circle that.
攻撃したってことですか？
Are you saying he was attacked multiple times?
多分
I think so.
傷跡から考えると、長い棒のようなもので殴られたんだと思う。
By the look of the wound, I think he was hit by a long shaft or stick. A long shaft.
傷跡と一
Okay,
致
let's
するもの
stop.
を見つけたんだ。
We found an object that matches the head wound.
床に転がっていたモップの枝だった。
A mop shaft that was lying on the floor.
あの真っ二つになってるやつ。
The one that's broken in half?
殴ったせいで折れたんだと思う。
I think it broke during the attack on Sayo. Yeah, circle that up real quick.
もう一度まとめよ
Let me recap.
う。ユーマは最初、
No
トイレ
cap.
の真ん中で襲われたみたいだ。
It looks like Sayo was initially attacked in the center of the restroom.
血の量
True?
もそうだし、他の血痕が続いてる様子から見てもね。
Yeah, considering the pool of blood over there and the trail of blood.
最初にやられたのは多分後頭部だろう。
I think the initial wound is the one on the back of his head. Yep.
深い傷ではなかった。細長く切れてた様子だったし、
It's a long gash, but it wasn't deep.
長い棒のようなもので殴られたみたいだ。
Like he was hit with some sort of stick.
折れたモップの絵は見つかったわ。
Then we found a broken mop shaft.
ここまでが最初に起きたことだと思う。
This is probably what happened in the beginning.
後頭部ならそもそも背を向けてたってこと？
So Sayo was facing away from the attacker, right?
そんな不注意なやつじゃないと思うんだけどな。
But he wasn't the type of person who would be careless enough to do that. Sayo was attacked in the restroom. It seems like the mop found at the scene was used in the initial attack.
だったら致命傷は何だったの？
Then what was the fatal injury? Good question. Maybe he lost too much blood? I think it might be the pillar. The issue was the fatal injury.
そっちはもう確かめたよ。
We already checked.
致命傷がどんなものでどうやって負ったのか
What the fatal injury was and how he received it.
さっきの調べでは
From what we saw. Okay, here we go. So the fatal injury would technically be the side of his head, because he had a deep wound there. So that would be bam, right? And then the cause of it would be the pillar. That's what I meant by saying the pillar earlier.
洗面台の横の柱頭より少し低いところに大きな血痕がある
On the pillar next to the sink, there's a large blood stain at a height slightly lower than where his head would have been.
どう見ても血が飛び散った跡じゃない
It isn't just a regular blood splatter,
ここにぶつかりでもしたってこと？
meaning his head actually hit it. Yes, that's what I was thinking. Oh, we're on the same page. I guess so.
ユーマの側頭部には広い傷があった
Sayo had a wide wound on the side of his head.
バランスを崩してあの柱に激しくぶつかったみたいな
I think he hit his head hard against the pillar as he fell over to the side.
それが致命的だったんですね
It must have been severe.
ひょっとして滑ってぶつかったのかも。
Could it be that he just slipped?
致命傷になるぐらい激しくぶつかったとは説明できないと思う
That wouldn't explain how he could hit his head so hard as to be fatal. I know, right?
それに
You'd have to slip really
最初の
hard.
傷は明らかに誰かにやられたものだ
Plus, the first wound was clearly inflicted by someone.
整理すると致命傷は側頭部のものだった
To summarize, the fatal injury was found on the side of his head.
洗面台の横の柱あれが原因だ
The pillar next to the sink, that was the cause of the fatal injury.
バランスを崩して倒れ強くぶつけたみたい。
I think he lost balance and hit his head hard against it. I don't agree with that.
痕跡は見当たらないからそれが決め手になったはずだ
Since there's no sign of anything else, that impact must have been decisive.
背後から殴られてあっちにぶつかったのかな。
That's what I was thinking. He got hit by the shaft, and the shaft took him, and he hit his head against the pillar. Do you think he bumped his head against it as he got hit on the back of his head?
直接見ていない以上は推測するしかないですね
We can only guess, since we weren't there. The wound on the side of his head is probably the direct cause of death. He struck the pillar of the restroom, but it didn't seem like an accident.
ここで致命傷を負ったんなら床に横たわっていないとダメでしょ。
If the pillar was what caused the fatal injury, he should be lying there on the floor.
運ばれたんですよ掃除用具室に
I guess someone moved him to the storage area. They were talking about how Sayo was dragged into the storage.
そうだ自分で動いたとは思えない
Right, someone moved him.
俺たちが見つけたのは
This is what we've discovered. Out of all of these ones, I read through them all. It's going to be the bloodstained inside. There's a long trail of bloodstains from the center of the restroom to the storage area. That shows that, you know, there was a clue that he was moved. And then the bloodstain in the storage. The bloodstains on the inner wall of the storage area at about the height of Sayo's head, assuming he was crouching at the same time. Bam, that right there. Those two, I'm locking them in. I'm locking them in, baby.
引きずられた血痕だったトイレの真ん中から掃除用具室まで続いている
The bloodstain extended from the center of the restroom to the storage area.
ユーマをそこまで引きずっていったらしい
That's how we know Sayo was dragged into the storage area.
それ以外の痕跡は見当たりませんね
I don't see any other trails of blood.
抵抗もできなかったのかな。
He didn't even fight back?
意識を失っていたと思うよ
He must have been unconscious by then. That's what I'm thinking, right? He was surprise attacked. He probably didn't even see the killer.
ユーマがいた掃除用具室の壁に血痕があったんだ
There was a bloodstain on the wall inside the stall where we found him.
運んでから壁にもたれかけさせたんだと思う
He must have been moved and leaned against the wall.
発見した時は横たわっていたんでしょ。
But wasn't he lying down when you found him?
バランスを崩して倒れたかもしれない。
He must have fallen over. Yep.
整理すると犯人はユーマを引きずって掃除用具室の中に運んでいった
In other words, the attacker dragged Sayo to the stall and left him there.
ユーマは壁に寄りかかったけど倒れて
He was leaning against the wall, but soon fell to the floor.
ねえ、隠そうとしたのかな。 しばらくの間見つからないように。
Was the attacker trying to hide him so he wouldn't be discovered for a while?
それにしては適当すぎるような。
But I don't think that's the case because this is all too clumsy.
掃除用具室のドアも閉まってなかったわよ。
The attacker didn't even close the door.
他に狙いがあったのかな。
You think there was some other reason?
ただ慌てていたのかもしれませんよ。
Maybe the attacker was a little out of it, or maybe he was scared. He or she was scared. The culprit seemed to kill Sayo at the center of the restroom and moved his body into the stall for storing cleaning tools.
本当に抵抗もしないでやられたの？
Are you saying he didn't even fight back? Nope.
性格上ありえないんだけど、
It's not like him.
見逃したものがあるのではないでしょうか。
Are you sure we didn't miss anything? They began to focus on the signs that Sayo didn't resist.
そうだな。俺たちが見た限りでは。
Well, the way we see it. His body lay sideways with no other injuries. His tidy clothing implies no signs of a physical fight right there. That's one. And then the watch. And that should be it. The watch isn't dirty.
頭以外には目立った外傷がないんだ。
Except for his head. He looked fine otherwise.
着衣に乱れもなかったし、荒らされた形跡もなかった。
His clothes were tidy. Nothing about him was disheveled.
最初に殴られたところも後頭部だと言ってたし。
And also the initial attack was to the back of his head.
最初から油断してたのかな。
Maybe he was at ease when it happened.
スマートウォッチをいじった痕跡はなかった。い
The,
や、逆に何もなさすぎた。
the watch looked untouched too. It looked rather clean.
念のために確かめたけど、別に手を出したものはないようだった。
I checked it just in case, but it was left as is.
指紋とかを全部拭き取ったんじゃないかしら。
Do you think it was wiped clean to remove any fingerprints?
スマートウォッチが綺麗だということは、争ってないという証拠でもあるんだ。
The clean watch indicates that there was no physical altercation. Could have been cleaned.
ユーマは頭部に2度の傷を負った。
Sayo had 2 head
その
injuries,
他の傷は全くなかったし、
and there were no other wounds.
相手を見ていない可能性もある。
Exactly. I'm with Lee. There's a chance he didn't even notice the attacker's presence. Yup.
折れたモップのことなんだけど、
Think about the broken mop shaft.
飛んでいた方向からすると中からドアの方向に向けて殴ったんだと思う。
If you think about where we found it, it would have been swung from behind Sayo. Good point. Min groaned, looking pale.
攻撃してくるなんて予想できなかったのかも。
Maybe he wasn't even aware of the attack.
どう見ても気まずい結論ではあります。
No matter how you look at it, it brings us to a difficult conclusion. There are no signs of struggles or wounds other than the head wound. Sayo should have been facing the door when he was attacked in surprise. Sayo was ambushed even before he had time to react. He was hit on the back of the head with the mop, then died when his head struck the pillar. The attacker dragged him into the storage area. Then they leaned Sayo's body against the wall and disappeared. When and why did Sayo go to the restroom? Why did Sayo turn his back on his attacker? It must have been somebody he trusted, if you think about it. Where did the attacker come from? When did the attacker assault Sayo? Where is the attacker hiding right now? Probably in plain sight. These confusing thoughts made Han's head pound. What was most painful was the loss of Sayo. Han groaned as the shards of shattered memories pricked at him like thorns. The group walked toward the central corridor. So they're gonna leave the bathroom? We're gonna leave that man's body in there? He really is gonna be buried away.
いつやったのかな。
When did it happen?
それより一体誰の仕業でしょう。
I'm more curious as to who did this.
今言えることは一つしかない。絶対一人で行動しちゃいけないってことだ。
One thing is clear. We should all stick together from now on. They all gathered in one place, nervously exchanging glances. Maybe they began to suspect one another. Ooh, what do we got here? Not a good time to go over each one. It will ruin the mood. Can trust one with a clear alibi. Need to go over each at least once. Let's do it. Let's do alibis.
ちょっといいかな。
I have something to say.
ユーマは 誰かに襲撃されたんだ。
Sayo was ambushed by someone.
不意打ちをされたのはほぼ間違いない。
It was pretty clear he was letting his guard down when it happened. All eyes were on Han.
少なくともいつ起きたのかは確認してみる必要がある。
We need to at least figure out when this happened.
みんな、ユーマが楽屋にこもった後、どんなことがあったのか、もっと詳しく話してみよう。
Let's talk about what each one of us was doing after Sayo went to the dressing room. A heavy silence filled the corridor. Oh yeah, we're getting quiet out here, huh?
りょうくんの意見に私は賛成よ。
I agree with Han.
僕たちの中にいるってことですか？
Are you implying one of us attacked him? Boy, Chang, shut up.
大丈夫ですか？
Min, does it bother you?
大丈夫なわけないでしょ。
Of course it does.
でもね、漠然としているからもっと不安に感じるのよ。
Look, we're growing restless only because we have no clues of what's going on.
詳しく調べたら絶対私たちじゃないって結論が出るかもしれない。
Once we get things straight, we might be able to reach a conclusion that puts all of us in the clear.
その
Thank
方
you,
がいいと
man.
思うわ。
Thank you, man. I'm hoping that would be the better result for us. Yes. Yes.
じゃあ私もレイナさんとりょうちゃんの意見に賛成よ。
Me too. I also agree with Min and Han.
頭が張り裂けそう。さっさと話してみよう。
My head's about to burst. Let's get the facts straight.
少なくともお互いに疑うのは嫌だから。
I don't want us to suspect one another. It was agreed that they should check their whereabouts before the attack.
りょうが戻ってからユーマに会いに行った。その途中で揺れがあって。
I went to see Sayo after Han came back. On the way, there was a tremor.
楽屋で彼の説得に失敗して戻ってきたけど、時間はよく覚えていない。
I came back from the dressing room after failing to persuade Sayo, but I can't remember exactly what time it was. Okay.
戻った後にユーマがシャベッターに投稿したよね。
He wrote a post on Fader after Lee had come back.
その直前だと考えればいいと思う。
I guess it happened right before that. How do we know it was him that wrote that post, though? He went to the dressing room after Han, then a tremor came. After he failed to persuade Sayo, he came back to the stage to regroup with the others.
私はあいつが投稿したのを見てから楽屋に行った。
I went to the central corridor after checking out his post.
確かケイちゃんが来てから何分か経った時だと思う。
It was a few minutes after Lee had come back. Oh headed to the dressing room alone after reading Sayo's provocative post when Lee got back.
一人だったからちょっと怖くて、ゆっくり楽屋の前まで歩いて行った。
I was a little scared to go alone, so I took my time getting to the dressing room. Why were we taking our time, though?
少ししてから揺れが過ぎ去って、楽屋の中にユーマはいなかった。
The tremor passed after a bit, but Sayo wasn't in the dressing room.
僕はクニカちゃんが言った地震の直後に楽屋に行きました。
I went to the dressing room just after that tremor.
5分もかからなかったと思いますよ。ほとんど走っていきましたから。
It must have been less than 5 minutes because I nearly ran. Soon after O left for the dressing room, a tremor occurred. Chang went to the central corridor to find O after the tremor died down.
私は揺れが起きた時、ケイ君とりょう君と一緒にいたわ。
I was with Lee and Han when the tremor occurred.
この状況のせいか、いきなり過呼吸が起こったの。
Things got mixed up and I started to hyperventilate.
りょうと話していた時、レイナさんが突然いなくなったからびっくりしましたよ。
I was talking to Han when Min disappeared suddenly. I was really worried about
ご
her.
めんね。落ち着かなきゃと思って。
I'm sorry, I was trying to suppress it. Yeah, but where did you
それ
go?
ぞれ方法が違うのよ。
Everyone has their own way of dealing with panic attacks, but where did you
レ
go
イナさ
though?
んがどこにもいないから電話したんですよ。
I called Min after finding out she was missing.
繋がらない間にみんなが戻ってきたんです。
While I was trying to make a call, you guys came
ク
back.
ニカさんとナオト君、レイナさんまで全員。
Everyone including O, Chang, and Min.
それじゃあ正確な時刻は。
So the exact time was...
俺が電話した時刻を確かめたら
I'll check the time I called. Min's whereabouts. Due to her hyperventilation, she was catching her breath in front of the door to the central corridor. It's not looking good for her. She's seeming a little suspect. Han had a rough picture of everyone's whereabouts. If they talked a little more, they'd be able to get their timeline straight. Han continued again, going over the recent conversation in his head. They're starting to be a little suspect. Not lying here. Second victim? communication started. All right, guys, that's where we're gonna leave it off here. I appreciate each and every one of you guys for supporting the series. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time on Buried Stars. All right, have a great weekend, y'all. Deuce.
Hope will never die.
Notice, then still think of the past. 2 minutes early.